Geico presents sharing versus oversharing. Yesterday, Cliff Sora shared a top 10 list of hot fusion restaurants, a vegan gluten-free mashup recipe, and a podcast featuring organic food trends. Oh, TMI? Too much internet information. That's oversharing. Cliff, Geico has something worth sharing with your friends. Like how on Geico.com you could save hundreds on your car insurance, update your policy, and report a claim. Gluten-free info that's easy to swallow. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Blog Talk Radio.
My name is Ronald Reagan. This station daily pierces the Iron Curtain with the truth, answering the lies of the Kremlin and bringing a message of hope to millions trapped behind the Iron Curtain. Grateful letters from listeners smuggled past the secret police express thanks for identifying communist quislings and informers by name.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida.
Barack Obama ain't taking my shotgun. I got two. If he tries to fool with my Beretta, he's got a problem.
Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy.
The zombie has no will of his own. You see them sometimes, walking around blindly with dead eyes, following orders, not knowing what they do, not caring. You mean like Democrats?
You can follow Brian on Twitter and Facebook and listen to archived shows at briancraigshow.com.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
You can follow Brian on Twitter and Facebook and listen to archived shows at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian Craig.
All right, and welcome to another edition of the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Welcome to the program, everyone. And, of course, you can find us at briancraigshow.com. And we also air on, well, all over the place. But you can find this episode and all of our past episodes of The Brian Craig Show on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and the TuneIn Radio app. You can just go to any of those apps and type in The Brian Craig Show, and all of our episodes will come up. Well, there's a lot to talk about on this podcast. We'll talk about this great debate last night. I went to sleep before the debate, and I watched it early this morning before I went on the radio. And I got to tell you, I had some predictions this morning after watching it, and it looks like they came true. This debate last night, this Republican debate, was the beginning of the end for the Ted Cruz campaign. Ted Cruz really blew it last night. And, Ted Cruz, I don't think Ted Cruz really had a shot at beating Donald Trump. Iowa may have been up in the air. I don't know. But Ted Cruz is going down the tubes, and it's happening fast. And, you look at that debate last night, and Ted Cruz did not have a good moment, And by the way, all the other people up there other than Ted Cruz and Donald Trump were the only ones relevant last night, I would say. No one else up there was even relevant. It seems like they're all fighting to be in, like, fourth place or something. I don't know. So I'm really not going to talk about the rest because I tuned out what the others said because they're not credible. These other candidates that are up there, someone said Ben Carson, Chris Christie, none of them are credible candidates for the presidency, and I just couldn't waste my time listening to them because it means nothing. But Ted Cruz at first I thought it was an uneventful debate. And then as I went through and gathered some of the audio sound bites to play on the Steve Kane show this morning, I realized, well, wait a minute, Ted Cruz really got hammered last night. And the two things, this business, and I'll play some of the audio today, this business with New York, with the New York values, it really, I'm shocked at how it backfired, because most of America, like even I'm not a New Yorker, but most Americans, we really don't care for New Yorkers. The biggest problem with politics here in Florida where we live is we have too many New Yorkers down here that mess around with everything. Too many liberal New Yorkers that make Florida sometimes go Democrat like it did for Obama the last couple times. But this typical comment about New York City that Ted Cruz made, if anyone else were on the scene other than Donald J. Trump, President Trump, he would have gotten somewhere with it. But people love Trump so much, it completely backfired on him. And when Donald Trump came back talking about the 9/11 experience and the death and destruction of New York and how New York overcame all of that, it really was devastating to Ted Cruz, and it really backfired on Ted Cruz in a way that I'm very surprised about. And I think no one's more surprised than Ted Cruz. And the entire debate, that seemed to me really centered around Ted Cruz's eligibility. I've been talking about this all week on the radio. I tend to think probably Ted Cruz is not a natural-born U.S. citizen. There are some questions about it, and some of the questions about it are his mother being registered to vote in Canada when he was 4 years old. You have to be you have to be a Canadian citizen to be registered to vote there. So that's questionable. He did renounce his Canadian citizenship, which shows at least at some time he did have it, including that Canadian birth certificate. So there are questions about it. There's some other things, too, I'm not going to get into. But even if there were no legal questions about it, that's not the point. I know Mark Levin has been saying, because he's the big constitutional conservative expert, that it's settled law. This is the thing, and this is what Donald Trump talked about last night. If Ted Cruz, God help us, got the nomination, the October before the election would be consumed with Democrats going to court, filing lawsuits and injunctions, whatever they do, questioning his credibility and eligibility to run for president, and it would be over, and then Hillary Clinton would win. Or if this guy that has the rape fantasies, the commie Bernie Sanders, he'd win. And that's what Donald Trump's talking about. So Ted Cruz lost big time last night because of the birther issue and, of course, the New York issue. So it was a good night. Oh, here's Kathy. Kathy's just joined. It was a good night for Donald J. Trump. And, Cully in the chat room, he said Fox News had the that who's that fat slob, Frank Luntz. I know what his name is. I just wanted to call him a fat slob in a less obvious way. But the Frank Luntz focus group said Ted Cruz won. And, since I watched the debate this morning, can you imagine? I watched the debate this morning, and before I watched the debate, I saw the story about the Luntz group saying Cruz won. I'm like, really? Really? And then I watched the debate. I'm thinking, what were these focus group people watching? I don't know what they were watching. But it wasn't the same debate I watched. I don't know how anyone could say won that debate.
I watched the Outnumbered, so I haven't watched that show in a while, but I thought I'll watch it. And they were definitely saying Trump won. They're like, it was Trump's night, and a lot of people said that. Maria Bartiromo, who I love, was like, Trump annihilated Cruz with the New York thing. She said any headway Cruz made was completely deflated in that moment. And that's all everybody was talking about was that New York comment. That was it. Frank Luntz just hates Trump because he humiliated him. I mean, this guy has got to get better hair. He wears a toupee. It's ridiculous. Everybody knows it. But he hates Trump because he humiliated him, and he is never going to give him credit. And he is in with those establishment people, and he should have at least said Rubio won. I mean, nobody thinks Cruz won. I mean, he was doing well until that point with the New York thing. When Trump said that, it was I said put a fork in him. He's done. Like, he's going to go down, I would imagine, because 9/11 is something all Americans shared, and remember they would say we were all New Yorkers on that day, and for him to criticize an entire city and stereotype New Yorkers like that is really not. Because, like what you said on the radio, he figures he's never going to win New York, so it's like a throwaway. So who cares? But Trump is probably going to win New York. So hold on. Put me on mute for a minute, okay?
Yeah, I told you our daughter's friend is coming over, so the dogs are going nuts. Daisy and Nina. I don't know why they're barking, especially Nina, the little dog. She always barks every time someone comes over. It's a pain in the butt. I hate little dogs. They're so Well, I don't hate our dog, but little dogs are so yelpy. It's a pain in the butt. Are you back, Kathy?
I am, but she's going to bark again soon.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll keep you on. Well, listen,
keep me on.
the thing about New York, the media, the media of America are all based out of New York City. Even if you see some of them in Washington, they're New York people, and most of the media, their entire claim to fame is that they were in New York on 9/11. And once you start attacking New Yorkers, you're attacking them. And then when the way that Donald Trump came back at Ted Cruz with the 9/11 experience, he got the media on his side. And I was looking, Rolling Stone, one of the reporters is attacking Trump.
Emily, make sure the dog comes out.
I'm going to mute Kathy. I saw a Rolling Stone reporter siding with Trump, attacking Cruz. And, I've been saying for months and months, and now Donald Trump said it this morning on Morning Joe, but I've been saying for months that Donald Trump could win the state of New York. Outside of New York City, there's a lot of Republicans in New York. And Donald Trump's the first Republican candidate that in a long time that has a chance to win a significant number of votes in Manhattan. And Trump could win enough votes in New York City because he's so popular there that he could win the state of New York. And there's so many – I don't know how many electoral votes there are in New York. Okay, you back, Cass?
I'm back.
Okay, we got you back. But if Donald Trump could seriously win New York, and what Ted Cruz did last night, this is an amazing thing, as you see what's going on Twitter and in the media. What Ted Cruz did last night was unite people of New York again, like after 9/11, but behind Donald Trump. And there's a lot of liberals in New York that are upset at Ted Cruz, pissed off, and getting behind Donald Trump. So it's amazing. Not only did Ted Cruz screw himself, he helped Trump, and he's united New York behind
Brian,
Trump. I mean, this is amazing.
These guys, whatever they do, helps Trump. Whatever they do. Yeah. I mean, I could just imagine. Jeb Bush, you see his commercials. They're very expensive. Jeb Bush must really – I really think he still thinks he can win. With this whole, they were on TV today with Lindsey Graham endorsing. Who gives a damn? Coming out. Nobody cares. He thinks this is going to get him South Carolina and this is going to turn things around. I could see – I mean, I just envision Jeb Bush in a room with all these old, tired Republican guys, Karl Rove, Lindsey Graham. They're so out of touch with the voter, and it was funny, and they really think that they're going to one-up Trump. They don't understand that the Republican voter hates them. They are sick of these. They're rhinos, and they've been spending so much time courting the left that they have totally crapped on their base, basically, for lack of a better phrase, and their base is pissed, and they're like, you know what? I don't care what Jeb Bush does. I am never voting for this guy. Now, if Trump was not here at all, if he was not a factor, Hillary would definitely win, I think. Because there's no excitement over anybody else. Any excitement you feel over Rubio or Cruz is because of Donald Trump. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I just feel like there's nobody in the Republican field that would be terribly exciting or interesting. Donald Trump is a game changer. These guys don't understand that.
Someone in the chat, said that 32 electoral votes in New York, and
he'll get it.
New York is, for the first time in a long time, certainly since Reagan, New York is a battleground state now. It's up for grabs because of Donald Trump. It is. And what Ted Cruz did, I almost think maybe Ted Cruz was trying to help Donald Trump with that. It seems so.
I'm telling you.
The thing. If I there's nothing Trump says or does that I disagree with. I mean, I stand by Trump. But if I were an opponent of Trump on that stage, I would not engage him in a negative way because anyone who's gone after Trump has gone down. I mean, Scott Walker was the presumed front runner, and he dropped out of the race months ago.
Let me ask you, first of all,
from being off the stage. And Jeb Bush is going to be at the kiddie table debate the way things are going.
Okay, I'm going to ask you two questions.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing your bathrobe?
I was showing everybody the Star Trek robe you got. Before the show, I was showing everybody the Star Trek robe. See, these are my Captain Kirk bathrobe you got.
Yeah. Okay. Also, why do you think Scott Walker dropped? I think they had something on him. I think somebody had something on him, Trump or somebody, because he dropped out like so fast. And so early, it was suspicious to me. Like somebody had something on. He just he disappeared. He's not even come out and doing interviews. He fell off the face of the earth. Something happened.
There was something up with Scott Walker. Yeah, there was something
up with that. It's too weird.
There was some sleeves that he was worried about that he didn't want out there. Scott Walker, absolutely, because we haven't heard from him since. You're right. Yeah, you're right on the money. These guys don't drop out like that. And we saw Lindsey Graham.
They keep hanging around.
We saw Lindsey Graham endorsing Jeb, and they had this press conference today.
Who cares?
And Jeb Bush, Jeb Bush's problem. He's got a lot of problems, but one of Jeb's problems is that the people running this campaign are from his brother and his dad's campaigns, and they're running for president like it's 1988, and they have this theory that if a Republican wins South Carolina, they sweep the rest. And we were watching MSNBC, and one of these liberal jerks on MSNBC actually pointed out some information. It used to be in the days of Strom Thurmond that there was a strong Republican party machine with some strong false tweed-like party bosses there, and they controlled this machine in South Carolina, and they could propel a Republican to the nomination. Those days are over. You know, Jeb Bush is so out of date.
That loyalty is not there anymore.
Running a campaign today.
Yeah, that loyalty is no longer there, and the reason is because the Republican voter has sat by and watched Obama try to destroy this country and everything we stand for and have a tone of anti-Americanism, and we've watched every Republican in office sit and do nothing about it, and they give him hugs and they kiss his ass and all this stuff, and it's making people sick. And they're like with Obamacare, with giving money to the Iranians, $100 billion. The Republicans do nothing. They're so busy, like Jeb Bush, trying to court the left. They've gone to the left. I mean, Jeb Bush is like where Clinton was. I mean, he's like so in the middle and to the left a little bit. And the voter is done with them. They're done. You know how you get to a point where you're just like done with somebody? That's how it is. They're just done with them.
Don't understand. You know, this a-hole Scott Walker, who's a complete piece of crap. I mean, he's just a scummy, sleazy traitor. You know, what the Republicans don't understand is that the Republican voters hate them. We don't just hate them. We hate them with a passion because they lie to us. They go when they run for office, they tell us all these things, and then they screw us over. So we're done with them. And
that's right.
And Donald Trump. This is about breaking the Republican Party establishment, and they just don't want to. They've not.
It's a rebellion.
They've not accepted that yet. and Jeb Bush and Lindsey Graham and all the other Republican establishment people. And that hasn't sunk in. They have no idea of that. They think we're a bunch of stupid people that live in single wide trailers and white trash trailer parks. They don't understand, you know. And one thing, Cully had mentioned this in the chat just a moment ago. Another thing they don't understand is that the Republican base is very well organized through Facebook and Twitter now, and we don't have to do what they tell. We can do things on our own. And you know, Donald Trump has 5.9 million Twitter followers. He has a bigger audience in Twitter than Megyn Kelly has every night.
He started
on
with
MSNBC.
He started with 1.9 because I started following him right when the day after he announced. He's gained 4 million, and you know, this is when I said this is a rebellion. What I mean is this is not just a rebellion against Obama. This is a rebellion against the Republican Party. Yeah. People are angry, and Trump, you know. I love Bill Maher, who said he's more afraid of Ted Cruz because Ted Cruz is actually smart. People think Donald Trump is so stupid. You don't become a billionaire by being an idiot. This guy, the way you see him on camera, like the woman who worked for him said there are two Trumps, and the way you see him on camera where he gets all the attention and he's entertaining and all that, he's playing to the camera, and he knows how to play to the camera. He knows how to get attention. But the man who is the executive who works is very different. It's like you. People think you are the same way you are on the radio, that you are at home. But you're not. It's not that you have split personality, but you have a radio persona and you have a home and a everyday life persona, and you're very different. And that's how Trump is. On TV, he's still who he is, but he's different than when he's in the boardroom or when he's running his businesses. And you don't become worth $10 billion by being a moron. And this guy is so underestimated. He is smarter than everybody, and he turns everything to his advantage. It's incredible to watch.
Yeah, well, listen, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, there's more to share, all right? Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We are broadcasting live on Periscope, by the way. at Brian Craig Show. Okay, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Trying to build your online presence is not an easy thing to accomplish on your own. Between social media, search engines, and other pitfalls, going it solo is a bad idea. SEO Mono is the teammate you've been looking for. SEO Mono will build and grow your visibility online to the level you desire. SEO Mono's services include targeted web traffic, social media, link building, and much more. No matter if you're an artist spreading the word about your talents or a business looking to expand your reach, SEO Mono can help at SEOmono.com. Right now, use the promo code January for a whopping 40% off all services. SEOmono.com. Would you like to save money on your utility costs? Well, you can with solar panels. Solar panels can be installed on your home or business. And get this, not only will you save money on your utility bills, the installation is free. That's right, free. You can start with $0 down, $0 installation, and start saving money right away. You will be saving money and taking part in one of the most meaningful transfers of wealth in the history of humanity. The shift from dirty to clean energy. Each home is different, so are your solar panel needs. Your solar panels will be designed specifically for your home's architecture and your energy needs. Go to saveandgosolar.com and schedule a free solar consultation. There is also a way for you to start making money. Saveandgosolar.com has a partner program where you can earn additional income promoting this world-changing and saving initiative. So what are you waiting for? Start saving money, start making money, and go right now to saveandgosolar.com. If you have hearing problems, you know how precious hearing is. Wouldn't it be great to hear everything people are saying to you? If you could hear music again and not have to turn the television up louder than it needs to be. Having the right equipment makes all the difference. The Savings Mart is your one-stop shop for hearing amplifiers. The Savings Mart carry the quality brands Medka and New Ear amplifiers for seriously discounted prices. Just go to Google and search for The Savings Mart. That's all one word. The Savings Mart.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. You can follow Brian on Twitter and Facebook and listen to archived shows at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Go to our website, briancraigshow.com, and, of course, follow us on Twitter and Periscope at Brian Craig Show, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Brian Craig Show. Welcome, welcome. You know, who's this Italian chick from Fox Business, Maria Bartolona? What's her name?
Bartoloma, yeah.
Bartoloma. She is excellent.
She's so pretty. She is so pretty. I love her.
She's
very smart.
She's very pretty. She's classy, and she doesn't have to have a transparent desk teasing people with some Sharon
Stone. She's not a bimbo like
Megyn
Megyn Kelly.
Crotch
She's
shot
not a bimbo, right?
You know, Megyn Kelly is a bimbo. Megyn Kelly, I've been talking about her for a couple of years. She has a transparent desk, trying to give people this Sharon Stone Basic Instinct tease that you might get a crotch shot. And I got to tell you, I don't want to see Megyn Kelly's crotch. Okay, I'm sorry, you know, but she uses her legs and her crotch to get viewers. And this Maria Bartoloma is a class act. I think she's much more attractive and sexier than.
Well, when you
Megyn
compare
Kelly.
her to Megyn looks like trailer trash to me. She really does.
I would think Megyn Kelly is intimidated by Maria because she's
definitely
beautiful and she's beautiful in a classy way, and she's on TV. You know,
she's very pretty. Yeah.
She's a class act on TV, and it's just a happenstance that she's attractive. I mean, because she's very good, and the way she handled herself last night, there's no way Megyn Kelly is not pissed off because she handled herself so well.
You know what it is? She likes Trump, first of all, but you know, I'm sure they're good friends because she's on the Business Network, and you know, I'm sure she's interviewed him many, many times, but she didn't make it like about her. She didn't make it personal, other than when Ted Cruz said the thing about New Yorkers, and she kind of said, well, I'm a New Yorker. Then she made it a little personal, but it wasn't in a mean way. It was in a cute way. Like, you better watch yourself. You know what I mean? It wasn't like mean-spirited. She seems like she's a very happy person, that she is very secure with herself. Megyn Kelly seemed like a bitch. I'm sorry. That's how she came across. I have not watched her show or watched her since that debate. I've refused to watch her. I don't like her anymore.
Megyn Kelly, the thing that she doesn't like about Donald Trump is, Donald Trump has been very famous and very wealthy pretty much his whole life. So an attractive woman doesn't drop down on the floor to an attractive woman because he's been with so many attractive women. Megyn Kelly's ugly compared to the women Donald Trump has been
I don't think she's pretty at all.
And Megyn Kelly,
like a rat.
Megyn Kelly can't stand the fact that there's a man who doesn't want to sleep with her and is not hitting on her and is not coming on to her. There must be something wrong with him. And she's very offended by the fact that she can't use sex to get his attention.
Well,
she accused him last
revealing.
Week of hitting on her.
Yeah. What was revealing is he has sent her articles, I guess, about things he's done or whatever. Maybe something happened in the news and she has a TV show. I'm sure he sends articles to lots of people in the media. She took that as a come on. I mean, honestly, that's where her head is. Like
that's
him
right.
he was courting her. He probably sends articles to everybody. And, he has got a gorgeous wife. This guy is not insecure. He does not.
Megyn Kelly
is not on his radar.
Every morning when I get up and check my email, there are like 200 emails from listeners, sometimes more, that are sending me articles and things that they think I should read or to know about. Or, hey, you should talk about this on the radio. I get that every day, all day. I couldn't even begin to go through all of them. Megyn Kelly thinks every man wants to sleep with her. That's how consumed she is with herself. Megyn Kelly, not every man wants to bang you. I'm sorry. By the way, you're ugly. She looks like a horse. I've never thought she was attractive. And this transparent desk makes her look slutty. I'm sorry. It's just not appropriate. If you want to be a serious journalist, what you do is what I do. You sit around in a Star Trek bathrobe and go on. No, but if you want to be seen as a serious television journalist, you don't go on with this Basic Instinct Sharon Stone tease with the transparent desk. I mean, it's insane. It's really insane. She's not a credible person. Yeah. And this Maria chick from Fox Business, that's what a classy television journalist is. Not Megyn Kelly. She's like those weather girls on TV with the spray-on dresses that they call meteorologists. The weather bimbos.
Yeah, on Channel 7.
Kelly. I would love to see Megyn Kelly on television with this Fox businesswoman. I bet you she is so intimidated by her.
Well, Brian,
I bet
she did that lingerie shoot, which I thought was so tacky.
Yeah.
For Axum or GQ or Maxim, she did. And I thought, when I saw that, up to that point, I thought she was like a serious news person.
Yeah.
And then she did that, and I thought,
Maxim.
I was really surprised. I thought, here's a woman who's educated. She's a lawyer. She's on Fox News. Young girls look up to her. I want to be like Megyn Kelly. And then she does this like a common bimbo. I was so, disappointed in her doing that, because why do women who are successful, I'm not saying she can't be beautiful, but why does a woman who makes it and is successful have to go out and model like bimbo?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, it defeats everything.
That's right.
That you accomplish right there, and people see you in a way that they shouldn't see you. I didn't like it.
Well, you know why? Because Megyn Kelly uses sex. I don't mean the actual intercourse. I mean like sex appeal and flirtations and things to make it in life. I mean that's just the way that Megyn Kelly is, and she can't handle the fact that there's a man that's not impressed by her beauty. And Donald Trump isn't. I'm sorry.
Well, how do you think she's going to act at the next debate? Because she's hosting.
I think she'll be scared to death. She'll be scared to death. She's
how
really
do you think Trump will handle it?
I don't think she's on his radar really. I mean, I don't think he's worried about it.
There's a really good article about him in the Inquirer this week. They
Donald
like
Trump?
it. It's very favorable. And it talks about how, his older brother died at 43 from alcoholism, and Trump doesn't drink or smoke or do anything. And he said he really looked up to him. They were very close. And he said that he had 3 executives in his company that took a helicopter ride from New Jersey to New York, and he was going to go. He was getting ready to go on the helicopter with them, but he had too much work to do, and the helicopter crashed, and they all got killed. And they were three of his closest friends and coworkers. And this happened, I think, when he was married to Ivana or right after. And he talks, he just talks about that he's had a lot of, loss in his life, and with his brother and his friends have died, and he says whenever, and he said, I invested a lot of money in New Jersey and then the casino market, and I had to get out. And he said whenever something bad has happened, you have to turn it around into a positive, and you have to be confident and believe in yourself and not be afraid and be fearless. And he really has a very good, positive attitude. And I think with this last debate, he's really starting to show people the other Donald. He's starting to show people the serious Donald, is the very thoughtful Donald, and I think that's what came across. Because you know what I noticed in the debate, which was so pathetic? Jeb Bush does it all the time. Oh, he mentioned my name, I get to talk. He said my name, so I get my 2 minutes. They do that all the time. Jeb Bush is the worst, and John Kasich. It's pathetic. Donald Trump never does that. He just waits. He sits and waits very calmly until he's addressed.
I saw a Donald Trump interview by Sally Jesse Raphael, which tells you how long ago it was, And he was talking about politics in China, and this interview was like 25 years ago, and he was saying the same things then that he was saying now. Yeah. I never really paid attention to what Donald Trump said too much when it came to issues until he was running for president. I really didn't. I mean, I've always liked Donald Trump. But he is brilliant. He really is such a smart person. He's very impressive. This Maria Bartiromo, what's her last? I keep forgetting her last name.
Bartiromo, I think.
Bartiromo. When Kathy Lee left, Regis and Kathy Lee, they were talking to her about replacing Kathy Lee, and
she's better than that.
Yeah, she was on CNBC then, and I saw on Entertainment Tonight. She turned down the job, and I thought, wow, she's on CNBC. Why would she turn down the job? I mean, that seems like a pretty good gig, being on, taking over for Kathy Lee. And I can see why. She's a serious journalist. She's not one of these.
I think she really loves what she does. I think she's really into finance and all. That's her thing.
Yeah. And she asked very good questions last night, not in a mean-spirited way. It wasn't about her. She asked follow-ups and everything. Megyn Kelly is, they should take Megyn Kelly and replace her with Maria. That would be.
They could replace her with so many people. I can't stand Megyn Kelly.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, we'll take a break. When we come back, I'll get to some audio sound bites and much more. All right, you are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Visit our website, BrianCraigShow.com. Also, listen to our program on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and the TuneIn Radio app. We're on many other places, but those are just a few of them. But when you go to all of those apps and locations, just search for The Brian Craig Show. All right, we'll take a break and be right back.
As a parent, I know that when it comes to learning, reading is key. In fact, when it comes to education, if a child cannot read, nothing else matters. Youngsters Kids appreciates the vital role reading plays in a child's life, and it's the goal of Youngsters Kids to get kids reading by making reading fun and a fulfilling experience that they will carry with them the rest of their lives. Whether you're a parent, teacher, or child care provider, you will love YoungstersKids.com. YoungstersKids.com is full of educational books and activities. Your child will have fun learning essential growing skills through the exploration of Youngsters Kids. When you visit YoungstersKids.com, you will find creative and exciting books that will set your youngster on a path to reading. Also, like Youngsters Kids on Facebook, Facebook.com/YoungstersKids. YoungstersKids.com. At Youngsters Kids, small minds think big. YoungstersKids.com. What's your plan for 2016? Is it to have more success, to find happiness, love, and fulfillment? Don't let fear hold you back from living the life you want to live, the life you deserve. Sign up for life and dating coach Danny Stone's new course, Kill the Dragon. Danny Stone is a life, relationship, and dating coach. He has been working with people like you for over a decade who have goals but need help to achieve them. In Danny Stone's Kill the Dragon coaching program, he will show you how to tackle your fears the fears that are holding you back from achieving your goals and living the life you want. Go right now to IamDannyStone.com and sign up for Kill the Dragon. Stop feeling lost. Stop feeling stuck in a job or relationship. Reach your weight loss goals. Achieve your personal goals and find meaning and purpose in your life. Go right now to IamDannyStone.com and sign up for Kill the Dragon. IamDannyStone.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. You can follow Brian on Twitter and Facebook and listen to archived shows at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Welcome back to the program, everyone. Let me get to some of the audio sound bites. This is the most underplayed soundbite of the week, and I don't know if anybody else got into this. I'm of the opinion that Obama is not an American, certainly not in his mind or in his heart. And, people typically that run for president of the United States throughout our history are people that are patriotic American people that just love America. They're all about America, know all about the country. And we have the very first un-American president when we talk about Imam Obama. And one thing every American should know is the birthday of this country. And the birthday of this country, of course, is July 4th, 1776. And in 1976, we celebrated the bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the United States. The day after the State of the Union, Imam Obama was giving a speech promoting himself the day after, and he was talking about, I'll play it. It explains itself, and then we'll talk about it. But when you hear what Imam Obama says here, does this sound like a guy who was raised as an American? Listen to this.
Which is true. It's because the United States of America, for 250 years, has been...
For 250-something years, that's the president of the United States.
No respect. No respect.
Yeah.
There's no respect at all.
Yeah. It's 2016. This will be the 240th birthday of the United States. I could understand if it was like 2013 and you had to do the math real quick. I'd be like 237. You know what I mean? But, it's a solid year. Obama's not much older than we are. I was 5, you were 6. I vaguely remember the bicentennial. I don't have great memories of it, but I remember the time. Obama was like 11 years old or more when it happened. So if he was out in Hawaii, as he claims, the bicentennial would have been a big effing deal, as Joe Biden would say. And for him to get the age of the not even have an accurate age of the country, but be off by a decade or maybe even more, depending on what the 50-something year was. I mean, that's not the kind of person that's a patriotic American that rises to the level. It's like there's a little trick I do if you listen to me on the radio. When someone calls in and they tell me they have kids and I think they're lying, I'll say, when were they born? And if they really have kids, like our daughter, 3/1999, you know when your kids' birthdays are, but they don't when they lie. You know what I mean? Obama does. This goes back to the 57 state thing. Obama not even not having the faintest idea that the United States will be 240 years old on July 4th shows he's not one of us. And the 57 states was the big tell. Remember, the 57, I've been to 57 states, 3 more to go. And a guy called Rush Limbaugh the next day and said there are 57 Muslim states in the world. And I was like, holy crap, because I'm imagining Muslim kids, whether they're in Mecca, Medina, or Detroit, or Indonesia, Jakarta, Indonesia, learn that there's 57 Muslim states in the world, and it's part of a reflex, like we say 50 states, they say 57. And now this, the president of the United States, I haven't seen this on television. I don't know if any of you have that are listening or watching on Periscope, but I think that's a pretty significant mistake of Obama's to not know how old the United States of America is.
Mm-hmm.
especially in an even year, because 76 and
It's an
16,
even year,
the
right?
The math's easy, 240 years. You know what I mean? And and if he was living in Hawaii, let me see how old he is exactly, because I forgot. Let me look. Let me look up what year. I thought he was born in 60 or 61. Let me see how old he would have been on the bicentennial. He was born in 61. So he was 15 years old. Well, actually 14, because he turned 15 a month later. He was 14 years old on the bicentennial. If he had the upbringing he claims in Hawaii, the bicentennial was a big deal. And I imagine in Hawaii in the 70s, because of Pearl Harbor, and he had a lot of those people around still, it was probably even a big deal, like in Philadelphia almost. I mean, so there's something off about that. And that's just me. There's just something off about that whole thing. And I can't believe I'm the only one who has that thought. I don't know. What do you think, Kathy? And we'll go to the phones. Any thoughts?
No, I don't think it's a secret that Obama has no worse country. I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. I'm not surprised at all.
Someone said in the chat, I bet you talk about Obama in your sleep. Someone said, I bet you talk about Obama in your sleep. I don't know. Do I talk about Obama in my sleep, Kathy? You're next to me. I don't know. Do I?
You talk about me in your sleep.
That's right. All right, let's take a call. Hello, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes, hello, you called. Yes, you're on the air.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. Before I tell you why I called, level with me here.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bobby in Los Angeles, the greatest caller in the history of radio.
We'll find out about that.
Well, before I tell you why I called, just level with me, because I know how some hosts are. Are you one of those hosts who actually are cool with people debating and questioning and stuff like that, or do you just, not deal with it and hang up on them and don't give them that much time?
No, I don't just hang up on people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to let you hijack the show either. Ask away. Ask a question, L.A. Bob in L.A.
Oh, no, Bob, yeah. No, I'm not going to hijack it. I'll have a good debate for you. I'm not part of any political party. I don't chain myself to any side, and I'm independent, and I go case by case, I've noticed over the years. Sorry?
I say that's what all the liberals say.
Okay, all right. Anyway, so I've noticed over the years that many conservatives, and I can give you tons of examples, either believe in conspiracy theories or contradict yourself. Would you agree with that or no?
No, I would not.
Okay, can I prove my case?
You can attempt.
Okay, sure. Which one do you want me to do, the hypocrisy or the conspiracy theory?
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. What did he say? That conservatives believe in conspiracy theories?
He says either conspiracy theories or contradict themselves. Let's start with the contradictions. Let's hear a contradiction.
Well, wait. I want to ask. Did you ever see the movie JFK?
Yeah, with Kevin Costner.
Who did that movie?
I forgot the guy's name.
Oliver Stone, a liberal. Commie. He's a commie.
That movie is full of conspiracy crap, and that's the biggest liberal around. So it is not just conservatives that get like that.
Let's hear the contradiction first. Get to the contradiction, Bob.
Yeah, I'm answering what she said. See, this is what I mean. You guys host, you don't want to give callers time. I'm answering what she said. I never said conservatives are the only ones who contradict themselves or believe in conspiracy theories. So let's go with that. So let's go to contradictions. I'll go step by step here. Tell me where I'm wrong. Conservatives always criticize liberals for spending money like crazy, and then you guys spend money like crazy. Want me to go on?
Give me a specific example.
When the Republicans were in power, didn't they spend money like crazy?
Well, give me a specific example of something money was spent on that's contradictory.
No. I don't mean the spending money.
This guy thinks he's the best caller in the history of talk radio. Oh my gosh, you're pathetic.
That's exactly why when I called you, I said to you, do you give callers time? Because every time I call someone,
I'm giving you time.
But you're insulting me and you're acting like I'm not good. You're not answering my questions. I knew this would happen.
That's how I conduct myself on the air. You got to be more specific than that. Yeah, Republicans spend money, yes, but give an example of them spending money in a way that contradicts their values.
Okay, but hold on. If I do that, I know what's going to happen. You're going to say,
no,
that part is okay.
Just do it and find out what happens. Do it and tell me. Give me an example.
Yeah, but that's not my point. My point is not when it's okay to spend and when it's not okay to spend, when it's not. My point is when conservatives criticize the left all day long, liberals spend money, liberals build up the government, liberals don't do this. Don't conservatives do the same thing when they're in power?
Now, conservatives don't do the same thing as Democrats, but give me an example of conservatives spending money in a way that contradicts conservative principles, so we can talk. You're not a very good caller.
But I'm not saying that. But you're not getting my point. I'm not saying when conservatives spend money, that alone is the contradiction. I'm saying when you criticize the left for all the time spending, building up the government.
The left spend money on things that they shouldn't, killing babies in abortuaries, for example, with Planned Parenthood.
So you're not against spending money then?
Of course, I'm not against spending money. I buy things. Of course, you've got to spend money.
Okay.
But what do Republicans spend money on? That's a hypocrisy for them to spend money on, is what I'm asking you.
But that was not my argument. So let's skip that one since you're
a
conservative.
That was a weak argument. Move on to the conspiracy thing. Maybe you'll do better.
It's only weak because you're not against spending money. So I was wrong to bring it up because you are not against
Who's against spending money? I spend money all the time. I go to the store. I spend money. I'm wearing clothes.
Now hold on. Is this a joke? Are you really going to sit there and tell me conservatives don't whine and complain about spending?
No. What they don't know. Conservatives don't complain about spending money. Conservatives complain about. Let me finish. Conservatives complain about wasting money and spending money on a bunch of welfare kings and queens to pay for their Section 8 housing and their heating subsidies and their Obama phones and their free Obamacare through Medicaid. That's the things we complain about, the waste of money. Okay, not spending money.
So we've been listening to different radio programs. That's what I hear on different programs. Maybe you don't hear that.
You know, most radio programs, the hosts aren't as sharp as I am. Move on to your conspiracy business.
Okay.
Maybe you'll do better.
Let's go to the next one. How about let's go to the next one. How about building up the government? Don't conservatives say liberals always build up the government? They keep building it up. Again, don't conservatives do the same thing?
Give me an example of a government, an increase in government by Republicans that's hypocritical. You got to give me an example.
But that's,
we're trying to
shut
down
on
things.
Okay, so do you disagree with me that too? Conservatives don't complain that they liberals build up the government too much?
No. Conservatives talk about big government liberals, but conservatives don't expand the government. We try to reduce it. So for us to be,
but when they're in power, didn't they expand the government?
Excuse me?
No, but when they were in power, this is like what I'm not. I don't get why you're not getting this. When they were in power, did they not expand the government?
No, Republicans did not expand government. Give me an example.
You know okay. I see what you're doing now. Okay, so you know what? I'm asking my question wrong. Let me rephrase my question. Why do conservatives on talk radio say all the time, "Hey, I'm against building up the government. I'm against spending"? Why do they say that? Why don't they say it the way you're saying it?
That's not what they say. See, you've got this opinion. You hear things. You hallucinate. Give me an example of Republicans growing government, and then we can talk about it. You say that Republicans grow government too, like Democrats. Tell me where and how, please.
I don't have an example. I'm going by a picture.
Well, I appreciate the call. He doesn't have an example. Well, thank you very much. All right, we'll take our break. What a lunatic! I tell you, what a lunatic. He's been, call me a few times, and then maybe at the beginning of his call, he said, "I am the best caller to talk radio." My gosh.
Oh my God. The problem with this guy is he reads these far left wackadoodle websites, and this is where he gets all his information from. So he's completely brainwashed. So when you actually tell him the truth, he lives in an alternate reality. So when you tell him the truth of what's going on, he really thinks conservatives don't like people spending money in stores. Yeah. What the hell's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, he's calling that. See, he's going to tell himself now, see, I said he'd hang up on me. Every call ends with a hang up. If I'm talking to Kathy, my wife, on the phone, one of us will hang up on each other. That's how a conversation ends. He's calling back.
It's funny because...
Yeah. Well, we got a break.
It's funny because whenever I talk to you and I'm with Emily, Emily's like, "You never say goodbye. You just hang up."
No, you don't say goodbye. You don't say, you never say
I'm
goodbye.
Sorry. I just say, okay.
Yeah. All right, listen, we're going to take a break. When we get back, there's more to share. My name is Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. If you'd like to call in and you're watching on Periscope, I have the call-in number on the description for the Periscope, and I'll give it to you right now, 347-945-5112. 347-945-5112. All right, we'll break. We'll be back right after this.
Candidates, campaign managers, and activists. It's election season, and when a candidate is running for office, from the local city commission all the way to President of the United States, getting their name etched in the mind of voters is the key to victory. And the best way to do that is to cover the area with promotional materials from thecampaignedge.com. Thecampaignedge.com will provide your candidate or cause with everything you need to win. From bumper stickers to magnetic car signs, buttons, tents, flags, and much more. With the help of thecampaignedge.com, you will have your name or slogan all over town. So when voters walk into that voting booth and look at the names and issues on the ballot, they will recognize yours right away. When you order from thecampaignedge.com, use the coupon code VIP and receive a 10% discount. Go to thecampaignedge.com and start on the road to victory. Thecampaignedge.com. If you're in business, you need a website. If you don't have a website, you're not in business. In fact, your website is the lifeblood of your business. Not only is it the first impression you make with potential clients, it's also how your current customers view you. MyLaunchKits.com understands this and offers web hosting services that are fast, secure, and managed by dedicated professionals. MyLaunchKits.com is your launchpad for success and handles everything you will need for your company's website. From web hosting and design, designing your e-commerce site, search engine optimization, web hosting for Linux, WordPress, and Windows, and much more. When you're a client of MyLaunchKits.com, you will have a free domain name, fast, reliable servers with a 99.9% uptime guarantee, 24/7 customer support with our experts who are available to assist you the moment you need them. And our services are priced to fit any company's budget. Boost your business potential with MyLaunchKits.com or call 800-264-3269. It's here, number 3 in the Planet of the Egg series, Planet of the Eggs Mummified Egg. When you read Planet of the Eggs Mummified Egg, you will find yourself in a world where eggs didn't hatch, where magic rules and evil is a constant threat. In Planet of the Eggs Mummified Egg, the eggs continue their journey in a new land filled with unexpected dangers. Follow our heroes across the desert as their powers expand and learn about the Egglanders' confrontation with the traitorous mummified egg, Loki. The Planet of the Egg series is a children's comic book series that is filled with action and humor. Order your copy of Planet of the Eggs, Mummified Egg on Amazon in Kindle format. Also like Planet of the Eggs on Facebook at facebook.com/Planet of the Eggs. Planet of the Eggs Mummified Egg. Order yours now on Amazon.
Why are you here? To get some money. What kind of money? Obama money.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida.
Where's it coming from? Obama.
Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy.
Where did Obama get it? I don't know. It's fast. I don't know.
You can follow Brian on Twitter and Facebook and listen to archived shows at briancraigshow.com.
I don't know where he got it from, but he's giving it to us to help us. We love him. That's why we voted for him.
And now, Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. You know, Kathy, this has been a bad week. I mean, we lost Grizzly Adams today, died. Dan Haggerty, right? Yesterday it was Alan Rickman, of course, great actor. He was in Die Hard, of course, Goober in Die Hard. He was also great in Galaxy Quest. I love it. David Bowie.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was in that.
Celine Dion's creepy husband who knew her since she was like 13 years old and married her.
Yeah,
he groomed her. You know what I wonder about? You know, Dan Haggerty played Grizzly Adams, and I remember in the 80s, after Grizzly Adams was off TV, Dan Haggerty was arrested. I think it was on cocaine charges. I think he had some cocaine.
Really?
You know what I always wonder? With someone like Dan Haggerty, Grizzly Adams was a long ass time ago. I used to watch it, and I was really little.
I was
watched really little, and it went off the. I just looked it up online. The last episode aired in 1982. So what has Dan Haggerty been doing for money since 1982? I always wonder about that. You know, and
I
remember,
guess he got a regular job. No, never.
You ever watched Grizzly Adams?
No.
The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams? I can't remember what the main. Let me read. This is the Wikipedia, because I was really little when it was on. But I always do wonder, what was Dan Haggerty? Did Dan Haggerty have like a regular job? Because I mean, Grizzly Adams has been off the air since '82. So and it doesn't rerun, so there's like not any really residuals. You know what I mean? But it says here, okay, The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams, a 1974 independent feature film that became a television series. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was a feature film. I thought it was a TV movie. It was inspired by a 1972 historical fiction novel written by Charles Seller. The film's popularity, the character played by Dan Haggerty was loosely based on a California mountain man, John Grizzly Adams, who lived in 1812 and died in 1860. Let's see here. The film and TV series portrayed the fictional Grizzly Adams as a frontier woodsman who fled into the mountains after being wrongly accused of murder. While struggling to survive, he saves an orphan grizzly bear that he adopts and names Ben. The bear becomes his closest companion. Constantly kind in general, Grizzly Adams discovers and demonstrates an uncanny ability to gain the trust of the most indigenous wildlife of the region. You know, what I remember about Grizzly Adams as a kid is my dad watched it, and it was terminally boring. I remember being really boring.
My dad watched it too.
Yeah, my dad loved it. And I remember it just being boring. I never, but there were only 3 channels back then. We didn't have cable, so anything that was on TV had like 50 million viewers every week. You know what I mean? But Grizzly, you got to wonder, what do these people do for money? Is like Dan Haggerty like got a job somewhere? You know, all these years. Another thing, couple things here. You know, I was talking about this a couple weeks ago when this Chipotle business came out about the food poisoning there. Yeah. And I was talking about it being corporate espionage because Chipotle, someone said he was making appearances at local Ponderosa restaurants. Was he really? Oh, my gosh. Really? Wow. How much can that pay? I wonder how much he got paid for that, $50? I don't know. But
that's kind of sad.
Chipotle, it is sad. I mean, you got to feel.
Maybe he got a free dinner. Maybe he did it for free food.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know. A lot of celebrities go to conventions and sell their autographs, and sometimes it's really kind of sad.
He could have done well at conventions, don't you think? But I don't know what kind of convention he'd go to. But I think people would. I think older people would come out to meet him.
Yeah, if you went to a convention and Grizzly Adams was signing autographs, But anyway, Chipotle. I was talking about it possibly being corporate espionage because they really hit McDonald's and Burger King and fast food hard. And I just read today, I'm sure most people have seen this, Chipotle is shutting down every one of their restaurants in the United States for a day to do some educational thing. And, I used to eat at Chipotle 2, 3, 4 times a week. I love Chipotle. I haven't eaten there once since the thing happened, and there's 3 of them right in the neighborhood of our house. And I almost went there the other day and stopped myself, and I actually went to Burger King instead, and I don't really like eating Burger King or McDonald's because I was afraid to eat at Chipotle. These liberal do-gooders that run Chipotle are so freaking stupid. I was telling you, they're not doing. No, they don't. They're not doing anything to reassure us that it's safe to eat there. And when I read today that they're shutting down every one of their restaurants for a day, that makes me think I am never going to eat at Chipotle again, ever. I mean, that is just insane, And I really enjoy Chipotle. I think the food's pretty good for the most part, and it's a good price. And it may not be really healthy because I'm sure it's probably filled with salt, isn't it? Like all restaurant food. But it's better than eating at McDonald's or BK, I'll tell you that.
Right.
And I mean, the damage to the Chipotle as a brand, I don't think they'll recover from it. They're going to be shutting down restaurants. Then there's another.
I've never heard of a restaurant chain shutting down all of their restaurants for safety training.
Never.
I think that is so stupid. It's crazy.
Never. I mean, Chipotle, it's bad news. And then I read on Drudge a little while ago, this afternoon before we went on the air, that Walmart they're closing like 200 stores, and 95% of them are in the United States. And Walmart, Walmart is just being devastated by Amazon. I mean, they're just destroyed.
It's amazing because it's amazing how like this happened with Blockbuster. Blockbuster came in and destroyed every privately owned video store because in the early 80s there were all these privately owned. We used to go to this place called Michelle's in Ridge Plaza. And then Blockbuster came and put all of them out of business. And then Blockbuster went out of business because of Netflix. There's always something. It's like you and I. You've Got Mail is one of my favorite movies. And you and I always say they should do a remake where Tom Hanks' character's business is going under because he owns like a Barnes & Noble type, and Amazon and Kindle destroyed that. Nothing lasts forever, and it's amazing to see these huge, retailers are in trouble, and it's amazing to see Walmart, who put so many mom and pop people out of business. Now they're dealing. It's just really sad. All these people are going to lose their jobs.
Well, you talk about
the internet is killing everybody. Amazon's killing all these retailers.
We have two Walmarts that are within like a mile and a half of each other in our neighborhood, and they're both huge Walmarts. I mean, it's amazing. But, you're right. Walmart put out of business so many small retail stores. It's amazing. And, Blockbuster, Kathy was just talking about how Blockbuster shut. When I was in high school, we went to all these independent people-owned video stores before Blockbuster. And when I was in high school, it was like my dream was to own a video store. I thought, man, this would be so cool to own a video store because I love movies, And be in a video store and own it and rent movies all day, that'd be so cool. And then look, Blockbuster put them all out of business. Now Netflix, even we have Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon sucks, okay? I don't.
In fact, I don't even think Netflix, they were so smart to do live streaming. I mean, they're really an innovative company because I don't even think people get their DVD service anymore. Does anybody even? That's what we started with Netflix. We'd get like 3 DVDs.
We would get like 3 DVDs.
We thought this is awesome.
Mail them back. Yeah.
We don't even own a DVD player or a Blu-ray, so I don't even think.
Well, someone said, it's the internet. The thing is, the internet has and computer technology is just wiped out so many freaking jobs. And I mean, who would have thought Amazon? I mean, look at Amazon has destroyed the bookstores, and now they're destroying Walmart. And, the federal government with the internet tax, they've been pushing the internet tax because Walmart has been donating money to these people in Congress for years to get the internet tax passed to try so that they could try to compete with Amazon. And, Amazon's doing a new thing in certain areas of the country. They do it in Miami. And some other big cities where if you order something on Amazon, they'll deliver it to you that day to your house.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
With a courier. I mean, it's insane. The only business I've not seen hit yet by the internet that's retail is grocery business. Amazon out in Seattle and a couple other markets, they're testing with the grocery shopping. So the groceries are next. But the one that we talk about all the time is the people that collect the tolls at the toll plazas on the toll roads, like the Turnpike and things. They're all out of work because of the computer technology. I mean, it's really frightening how many jobs. And even in my profession, what I've done is I've taken the internet and things and adapted to it. That's why I started podcasting.
You have to adapt. You have to adapt.
Yeah, you have to adapt. That's right. And that's the way it is. But you know what? The liberals were out there going after Walmart to try to unionize them for all these years, and now Walmart's going down the.
And also like with the bank, like. You and I at our bank, I'm not going to say which bank, but at our bank, used to pull up and there'd be like 3 or 4 tellers. And now you pull up, and it's a teller, but they're like in another place on a computer screen, and they're probably handling transactions for like 5 or 6 different banks in the area. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's
incredible.
It's Bank of America. It's Bank of America, and what they've done at Bank of America, at least here, is the drive-through windows have all been bricked up, and it's called a smart ATM, and you push a button and you get on a TV screen a teller, and I sometimes they're in Indiana, sometimes they're in Jacksonville, and they're like in a call center, like telemarketers, the tellers now. It's crazy, and what the internet has done. I mean, there's a lot of good things, obviously, but we've got 92 million people out of work. We have so many people out of work because of the internet, and jobs that aren't easy to, I mean, if you work at Walmart and you're being put out of business because of Amazon, your store, and you're out of work, it's tough. Where do you go? Retail jobs are not easy to come by now. And, one of the reasons wages are low is because there's an overabundance of supply of people that want the jobs. And it's a sad thing that Walmart's closing stores. I love Walmart, and I think
feel bad for all the people. Yeah, I feel bad for all the people that are going to lose their jobs, especially in these small towns where, Walmart came in. Well, maybe now I don't know. I don't even think a mom and pop store could make it against Amazon. But you have these small towns where Walmart came in, destroyed all the businesses, so everybody had to go work for Walmart. And think about it. You could have had a guy in a small town that owned like a hardware store or a garden center, like where you go and get flowers and stuff, like a nursery. Yeah. And then he was put out of business, so he said, and he got a job at Walmart working in the nursery. That kind of stuff happens all the time. Well, now Walmart's closing stores, and now that guy, what's he going to do? What are those people? They got nowhere to go in these really small towns where there's one Walmart is the only thing they've got going. I mean, and then you really think about it. Then you have movie theaters. I mean, people still go to the movies, but that's going to eventually go away too. TVs are so amazing, and these new TVs that are out there, like 5,000, 6,000. Well, eventually those are going to be selling for $1,500, $1,000. Everybody's going to own those new curved, awesome TVs. Absolutely. And with live streaming and on demand, like I rented a movie the other day. I don't go to the movies too much because I'm disabled and it's a pain in the neck for me to go. But movies come on demand. So like Star Wars will be out like probably in a month, and I'll just rent it for $6. And that's what people do. Instead of spending $50 to $100, I think eventually in 10, 20 years, you're going to see a lot of movie theaters closing down because the TVs at home and the live streaming make it so much cheaper and the picture's so good. You're going to see movie theaters closing, which is sad, and people leaving those jobs. It's like nobody's going to leave their house anymore. They're not going to leave. No. The whole thing with and it's really like something out of a science fiction movie, and it's kind of scary.
I agree.
And it's out of a science fiction book. People are becoming less social. Like they're social online, but there's less intimacy between people, and they're not going to leave their houses anymore. They're not going to interact with people anymore. It's all going to be done from home. They're going to work from home, shop from home, order food from home, watch movies at home, and it makes society. You know what I mean? It's sad.
I already do probably 90% of my work, maybe even more, is at home. You know what I mean? And I'm in an industry where, when I first started, like the internet, because the internet and computer technology is what's destroyed most of the jobs we're talking about. When I first started in talk radio, I would have to get newspapers every morning. I'd get 3 or 4 newspapers, and before I went on the air, I'd have to read them, and I'd cut out articles, and I'd highlight them. Now I don't buy newspapers anymore, and I get all my news on the internet. And it was difficult because I was always on the radio in the morning like I am now. So to get the newspapers that early in the morning was not always easy because most of the time I couldn't get them before 5 and I had to be on the air at 6. It was very inconvenient. I mean, it sucked, But newspapers, boom, going out of business, and it's all the internet. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, I want to talk about this Iranian capture of our sailors the other day. We're going to talk a little bit about that after the break. All right? You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Visit our website, BrianCraigShow.com. Listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, the TuneIn Radio app. Just go to those locations and search for The Brian Craig Show. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Since the beginning of time, gold has been the currency of the world. Gold is the only money that has never failed in the 5,000-year history of its use as currency. That's because gold holds its value. Gold is true money and will always be the backbone of the world's financial system. Gold is a great hedge against economic and geopolitical uncertainties that make paper money unreliable. Don't save paper dollars, save gold by visiting goldmarketaffiliate.com. With goldmarketaffiliate.com, you can also create a weekly residual income stream by sharing with people the benefits of gold and goldmarketaffiliate.com. Paper money has no real value, but gold does. Take charge of your future right now and go to goldmarketaffiliate.com and exchange your paper money for real money, gold. goldmarketaffiliate.com. Your website is the lifeblood of your business. Not only is it the first impression you make with potential clients, it's also how your current customers view you and your business. Your company's website needs to be modern and up to date. That means you need a web host you can count on. That's where tdwebservices.com comes in. tdwebservices.com offers premium web hosting services that are fast, secure, and managed by dedicated professionals. With tdwebservices.com, your website will grow with your business. You can access, sync, and share your data with 99.99% load times, and that's guaranteed, as well as private cloud hosting. tdwebservices.com is fully staffed 24/7 with expert support that is there to assist you the moment you need them. And the entire staff at tdwebservices.com is in-house with no outsourcing ever. Visit their website, tdwebservices.com, and read the reviews from satisfied clients. You will be impressed. Solutions, support, expertise, and everything you need. tdwebservices.com. You're a podcast listener. How do I know that? Because you're listening to this podcast right now. I want to tell you about a great new and must-listen-to podcast called My Time Is Now. My Time Is Now is your home to embrace supreme life excellence. Your host is Charlene. She is a leader in life excellence, an entrepreneur and podcaster who teaches and leads professionals on how to take charge in becoming powerful leaders. Charlene has been through the corporate America challenges of building and leading teams through unstable markets. There were very few role models to coach her to fully develop into an effective, powerful leader while being in a demanding role. She took ownership in developing her own way in becoming an effective leader who produced outstanding results, which led to a trail of many, many, many successes. Join Charlene every week as she discusses the concepts that may be holding you back from reaching your life excellence. Subscribe to My Time Is Now on iTunes and never miss a life-changing podcast. Just go to iTunes and search for My Time Is Now. You can also visit the show's website, mytimeisnow.co, for My Time Is Now, the podcast.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. You can follow Brian on Twitter and Facebook and listen to archived shows at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian Craig.
We are back. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Welcome back, everyone. Visit our website, briancraigshow.com. Okay, so these American sailors that were captured by the Iranians, this was like 3 days ago. Maybe 4 days. I mean, it's been like all week. 4 days ago now. I don't know. It's been quite a while. And we have next to zero information on these sailors. The one that apologized, this coward, is in custody of the Iranians for 10 minutes. They gave him some juice boxes, made them sit on this Muslim magic carpet and eat with their fingers, and he's apologizing, you know. We're very sorry to the, you know. We've gotten a little bit of information about him. He's a 27-year-old from Chicago. And, you know, this is, I find it odd that 3-4 days after this disgusting event, that we don't know everything about this guy in the age of the internet. You know, with social media, someone does something, they're in the news, the media immediately go to their social media, you know everything. 27-year-old kid, he's got Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I don't know why we don't know anything about him, but I was talking about this the other day before he was identified. He's 27 years old from Chicago. I'm wondering, and I'm just throwing this out, okay? I'm just throwing this out. And I'm not saying this is true of this guy, okay? But Obama, as commander-in-chief, has now allowed openly homosexual people to serve in the military, okay? Even Caitlyn Jenner transvestite freak shows are allowed to serve in the military. And this guy apologizing within 10 minutes is an embarrassment. I mean, it's really a national disgrace if you think about it. I mean, it's really not. It's bad news. I'm just throwing this, I'm not saying that this kid is, but if this 27-year-old that apologized is one of the homosexuals of the Navy, they keep calling him platoon leader. Is he a Marine? They said a 27-year-old lieutenant, and they didn't clarify which branch. Is he a Marine lieutenant or is he a Navy lieutenant? I don't know. I need to just check during the break again. It's still very vague. It's very vague about this guy. If this guy were one of the openly gay members of the military that have been allowed to be openly gay during the Obama regime, I'm of the opinion that the Pentagon, that the government, and the Pentagon's Obama and the White House would cover that up for as much as they possibly could. Because if we have a guy who gets captured, there's no signs of torture, and within 10 minutes he's on Iranian state television, not only apologizing for violating their territorial waters, but saying that it was their fault, and then thanking the Islamic Navy of Iran for helping them, and he's gay, that would not further the cause of openly gay people in the military. I'm not saying he's gay. I'm just saying that if this 27-year-old that apologized to the Iranians is gay, they would not want to tell us that. And the fact that 3-4 days later we know nothing about him other than he's from Chicago and that his rank is lieutenant. We don't know if it's Marine or Navy lieutenant. I'm assuming Navy, but it was a small boat. A Marine might be able to take a boat like that out. And it is a little odd that a little boat like that was so far out, isn't it? It's hard to believe. There's something fishy about that, too. I'm just telling you that if he were gay, they wouldn't want us to know, because people would say, my God, he's the first openly homosexual officer captured by the enemy, and he apologized immediately. It wouldn't make gays sound like tough fighting soldiers. And I'm just telling, I know Marines and sailors aren't soldiers, but you know what I'm saying, okay? I'm just saying, I don't know. We'll find out. I'm kind of hoping he is, because I'd like to see, not because I want to hurt anybody. If he's gay, I'd like to see how it's handled in the media. The first openly gay officer who's captured with his men, apologizing and basically confessing that he took to these phony crime of violating their waters like he did. I would love to see how the media, I hope he's gay so I could see how the media would react to an openly gay officer surrendering and apologizing so quickly. When I remember in the Gulf War, 1991, we had, 5 guys captured. One was a chick. And they went on Iraqi television and were apologizing, just like they tried to get our people to do in Vietnam, right? And they were obviously beaten. I mean, these were guys that were flying. I remember one in particular, and they crashed. So there's trauma with the crash, and they were beaten up and then made to apologize. That's one thing. These guys were given juice boxes. You know what I mean? It was a bizarre. All right, Kathy, you're back. I thought I lost you there. But I was just talking.
I had to go for a second. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Did you hear what I was saying while you were gone?
No, but I know you were talking about the soldiers with the Iranians.
Yeah, I was just saying. I would like the officer that apologized, which is just a disgrace. 10 minutes after being captured, I said I was hoping he's gay, because we have because I'd like to see how the media would react to the first openly gay U.S. officer being captured by the enemy and apologizing in 10 minutes. I'd like to see how the media would react to that. And the fact that we know nothing about this guy 3 or 4 days later, to me, is a little odd. There's something a little odd about it.
I don't think it has to do with him being gay or not gay. I think it just has to do with Obama being embarrassed. But liberals, I've heard liberals argue. I heard liberals argue that this is how, and maybe even it was Jeb Bush, I don't know, somebody said it, the reason we got our guys back is because we know how to negotiate, because we're making this deal. So we have to spend $100 billion in order to get guys back that they shouldn't have captured in the first place. That's insanity.
Yeah.
So we'll just go around giving everybody our money. I mean, I just can't believe we're giving these guys money, and I can't believe any American supports this. They're insane. Why do we have to pay and give them money to have any kind of relationship with them? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. What are we getting out of it?
There's $125
They won't kill our men, I guess.
There's $125 billion or whatever it is. It's money that we seized in 1979 when they took over the U.S. Embassy. We seized all the money they had in U.S. banks, and we've been holding on to it. So
we're giving it back. Okay, we're giving back their money.
Billion. Yeah, we're giving back the money we seized. I wonder if they've earned interest on it since '79. It seems like
I don't know.
You know, somebody in the chat said I'm embarrassing Ohio. Who cares if he's gay? I don't care that he's gay. I would just like to see how the liberal media, that was the champion of openly gay people in the military, I would like to see how the media would react to a homosexual officer apologizing 10 minutes after capture without any torture on television like that. I would like to see how they would spin it. I know they're already commending Obama for getting them back so quickly. I mean, this is bizarre. It's really bizarre.
The only reason they let them go is because they want that money.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
That's what Trump
But once
said.
they get the money, then what? Then what?
They still have the money that we're giving them. Obama should say, we're not going to give you the money until you release the 4 American prisoners.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what
he
I would.
He won't do that, though, because that makes Trump look too good. But let me tell you something. If Trump gets in office, if those guys are still alive, he'll get them out.
Yeah.
He'll get them out.
Yeah, I think it's embarrassing that a guy apologized so quickly, too. It's really embarrassing for the U.S. military to apologize that much.
And to have a picture
really
of them, I don't think they were happy that picture went online of them on their knees on the boat with their hands behind their head.
The other guys, when he was apologizing and all that, they didn't seem happy with him.
What was he apologizing for?
He was apologizing for violating the Islamic Republic of Iran's territorial waters. He said it was our fault, and then he thanked them for helping them on Iranian television.
Did they invade their waters?
I don't know. I don't care. This is the United States.
I mean, do you know how that looks to the rest of the world? I mean, we look like so weak. This is true. Nobody wants to ally with us because we're weak, and they're allying with other people. We're being left out because nobody wants to be associated with, because we don't do anything. Obama does nothing. So they're moving on to Putin or other people.
Someone in the chat room said it's embarrassing that the people in this chat room don't think Trump's a racist. I'm going to ask what I ask all of these people that say this about President Trump.
Let them call in. Give them a number so they'll call in.
I am going to call me.
Tell them to call in.
Give me the number. And when you call me, give me an example of Trump's racism. Now, if you're watching on Periscope,
they're not going to call.
The number,
they're not going to call. They're chicken.
Call. I'm going to go to we got a caller now. I'm going to go to a call now. The number is in the description of the Periscope chat. I'm going to give it to you right now. 347-945-5112. 347-945-5112. You're listening to The Brian Craig Show. Find us online at briancraigshow.com. Hello, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Dwight. I'm calling from Trenton, New Jersey. And Trump is absolutely not a racist. It's complete bullshit.
Okay, I'm not going to let the profanity go. I guess I can. It's the internet, but I choose not to allow the profanity on the show. People got to do.
Well, let me have a guess. Well, let me have a guess what this guy. Hold on, let me have a guess what this guy was going to do. Yeah. What do you think, if you would have let him stay on? What do you think where he was going to go with that call?
I'm not sure. What do you think?
He's obviously a liberal in conservative clothing, and he would have.
Oh yeah, he was pretending.
Saying Trump's praises at the same time saying those damn Muslims this and those blacks those N-word this. That's what liberals love to do.
Maybe
they pose as conservatives, and then they come out defending Trump while they're saying racist things at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, let's take another call and find out. It's 347-945-5112 is the number. If you're watching on Periscope, the number's in the description of the Periscope. Hello there. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Fuck you, cunt.
Oh, there's nice. That's a nice one. See, there we go. There we go.
Was he speaking to me or you?
I don't know. Probably just getting turned on to say it. But what I'll do.
Oh my gosh.
These people. This
lovely.
This, what I'll do is
I think we're making it big because we're getting all kinds of cranks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, that's a sign of success. What I'll do is after the show, I'll just go back because it's a podcast. I'll go back and edit that out, and it won't be on the show. That's what I'll do.
Why?
Okay, so it's a waste of time.
Why?
I don't like vulgarities on the show. It's just my thing.
I think you should leave it in.
All right, we'll
you
see.
You can edit
what's your name?
motherfucker. How about that?
Oh, see, there we go again. Boom, 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 boom. There you go again.
But you hang up on the guy. Maybe you should keep him on and see what he has to say.
I'm not going to let that language go. I'm not
going
to let guys.
It's the internet. It's the internet. It's not the. It's the internet. It's not the radio show. You can put it on the internet.
I don't like it. I don't like.
But see, they want to get hung up. They want to get hung up on. You should keep them on, and make them look stupid.
Let's try one more
because they want to get hung up on.
Here. Let's try another one. It's probably the same guy with like a fourth or fifth phone.
All right, let's see.
All right, hello, you're on the air.
Yeah, hello. How are you?
Well, I'll let you know in a minute. Oh my God, he's playing porn now. These guys.
What a loser!
It's amazing to me.
Amazing
to me. With
you're
the internet.
A loser, buddy. You're a big loser.
These are the Periscope people. It's amazing how many guys. They just sit around and what do they do? What do they do all day? They're like masturbating. I mean, they've got that.
Yeah,
they're really
losers.
There must not be. When I start Periscoping in the morning, usually about 5. And most mornings before I start Periscoping, I'll see what else is on, and it's always young girls. Ask me questions. Are always on. So I guess this time of the day there aren't any young girls on there to talk to. So they're so desperate for the sexual gratification. Call it. Should I take another one?
I don't know. We're not doing too well.
One more?
No, I
don't care. The show's almost over. I'm getting ready to sign off anyway. We'll try one more.
To experience wild cougars, we've got many beautiful and juicy women for you to explore.
Oh, my God. They still have those phone lines? Those 1-900 lines still exist?
See, now I feel almost like we are the Howard Stern show.
No, I don't care. That's just how liberals are. It's amazing.
That's
amazing.
Pathetic.
There's so many.
You need to block whoever that is. You need to figure out who it is and block them from Periscope.
Nah.
I'm sure they'll reveal themselves.
It's time to say goodbye anyway. We're coming up on the top of the hour. It's time to say goodbye anyway. So they'll have to scope around and find someone else to get their thrills to.
What a bunch of losers.
Amazing. That's the internet. I mean, the internet. That's what the internet. Filled with,
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, thanks, everyone, for tuning in. You've been listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. You can find us by going to our website, briancraigshow.com. If you're watching on Periscope, follow us at Brian Craig Show. Also on Twitter, at Brian Craig Show. On Facebook, facebook.com/Brian Craig Show. But if you go to briancraigshow.com, everything is listed there, including all of the different places where you can listen to the show. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back later this weekend with a brand new show. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
I want to share with you a new song from talented artist, rapper, and songwriter Young Marcus. This is a song with a real story behind it. Here is Breakaway from Young Marcus.
Young Marcus Production. Breakaway.
Trying to be saved, but I can't be saved. Trying to be saved, got me feeling depraved. Trying to be saved, got me feeling enslaved. Trying to be saved, got me chasing a fame. Trying to be saved, got me floating away, up and away, so I hide away. Feeling cast away in the midst, I'm astray. It's a trap, no escape, I gotta break away. I've been searching on excursions, I've been hurting, metaphorically disturbing. I can't seem to find a cure to miss. I'm saying I'm uncertain, maybe even introverting. Close the curtain, start my searching. Cause I'm trying to find my purpose on this earth, and I can't seem to find a reason for believing. I'm just seeing how deceiving that this world is. Let's believe it, we can see it, you can't see it. It's a secret, so strategic, complicated like a thesis. Got me searching for these pieces, finding Jesus, leave me speeches. Parting seats like Yokonesis. Lay awake, I'm feeling sleepless. Solve the puzzle, I'm a genius, just a key. In the darkness, can't perceive it. In the darkness, can't receive it. Need the daylight to retrieve it. If you find it, better keep it. Yes, I mean it. Trust it and believe 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 it. Trying to be saved, but I can't be saved. Trying to be saved, got me feeling depraved. Trying to be saved, now I'm feeling enslaved. Trying to be saved, got me chasing the fame. Trying to be saved, got me floating away, up and away, so high and away. Feeling cast away in the midst, I'm astray. It's a trap, no escape, better break away. Better break away. Better break away. Better break away. If I break away, I can never be saved. Gotta think, gotta pray. On my knees, feel afraid, like a world need for save. Leave me breathless and betrayed if I ever walk away. About to build a blockade so the evil can't invade. Where the darkness is conveyed. Tuck your wind, feel that wave. Pinned against the wall, throw a hand grenade. Blast away the pain, feeling drained. It's okay, just sustain your domain. Never let the evil in, it's insane. Got me thinking about money and the fame. Obsessing over objects to obtain, feel constrained. Fame, drugs, money, cast away. Love, life, people every day. Fame, drugs, money, cast away. Love, life, people every day. Got you stuck in a gaze, feeling blazed. Now you think about life different ways. Just a rapper, started rapping recently. Been a month now, I'm working full days. Feel the rhythm in my rhymes, USA. Spread the word all the way to Uruguay. Take a break, slip away to the ocean where the sun shine all day. Get away with my girl, run away. Talk about my girl, man, I ain't got one. Yes, I'm trying to be real, now I speak the truth, son. Never find my girl, well, she best be blonde. Take her out to dinner, go above and beyond. She gonna respawn when it hits dawn. Wave the magic wand, lay her hands on. Now we turn on, let her come upon. Now we making love to my newly made song. Love and life just begun. Love and life just begun. Love and life just begun. Break away, my son. Break away, my son. Break away, my son.
That was Young Marcus performing his new song, Breakaway. Breakaway will be available starting January 15th on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and many, many more music stores. You can find Young Marcus's other songs right now free on SoundCloud. Just go to SoundCloud and search for Young Marcus. Also look for Young Marcus on Facebook and Twitter. And January 15th, it's Young Marcus's new single, Breakaway, available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all the other music stores.
Geico presents sharing versus oversharing. Way early this morning, Brad Higdon shared a major spoiler alert from everyone's favorite hit show, sad emojis to express his feelings about the plot twist, and a playlist he made to drown out his sorrows? Dude, oversharing alert. Brad, Geico has something worth sharing with those who haven't befriended you. Like how you could save hundreds on your car insurance at Geico.com. So stop moping about the post-apocalyptic world and start saving in the real world. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.